All right, so today we're going to talk about the pre-approach and approach. So pre-approach is the second step in the relationship sales cycle or process. And I like to think about in terms of pre-approach that it's planning and preparation before I ever meet with my prospect. So these four phases can definitely overlap, and it helps you to ensure, although you initially have qualified your prospect, through these next phases, you're continually qualifying them through pre-approach, where you are, like I said, preparation and planning, approach your first few minutes, needs discovery, asking questions. As I mentioned, planning and preparation, it helps you, as this says, to be less mechanical, anticipate problems, blah, blah, blah. Essentially, back to plan and prepare. So what are you going to do? First, you're going to look at any prospect information. So what do you know about the company? What do you know about the prospect themselves, their job, their environment, the current situation, what they've been doing? You also want to make sure that you know your company's product or service inside and out, as well as what your competitors are doing. And then you're going to put a plan in place with goals, and in your case, you're probably going to rehearse some type of script or what you plan on saying, whether that's bulleted or kind of list items, or an actual script. So you can look through and read through this checklist, but these are suggestions from your text in terms of what items should I go through, or what should I think through before I ever meet with my prospect. I'm going to go into more depth with our sales call planning report in terms of what I think that you should be going through or thinking about before you meet with your prospect. But these are also good recommendations and included within what I'm going to show you later. So if I'm thinking about all of these things, where do I find the information? Because it's not going to just be off the top of your head. So here are some different areas where you can find information. So by having a plan and being prepared, that's going to help you to be more confident when you actually do sit down with your potential clients. Some other reminders are that you never talk bad about the competition. We talked about that within ethics. You better be on time, polite, regardless of anything they say. Plan ahead. So that can also be like, if you're counting on Wi-Fi, what if something fails? Do you have a hotspot? Do you have like backup printed materials? Do you have something saved on a PDF that you can pull up? What are your other options? And ensuring that you thank the prospect for their time, and that in a follow-up email or even written note that you are thanking them for taking the time out of their day to meet with them. And then generally you'll mention, I'd love to help you with XYZ that we talked about, or achieve, XYZ goals that we discussed. So I've done my planning and preparation, or maybe I'm even in the midst of it. The other thing I need to do as a part of planning and preparation is set up the actual meeting. So nowadays, we also have to determine, on top of these things, is the meeting going to be virtual or is it going to be in person? And then when's the best time for them? How am I going to contact them? And then actually schedule the appointment. Why do you want to schedule an appointment? Efficiencies are one thing. So think about efficiencies in terms of, let's say that your territory is all of central Oklahoma. You want to be efficient in your scheduling because you don't want to be having one appointment in Edmond and your next appointment in Norman. And then your next appointment, back in Edmond. Because you're going to spend most of your time driving. So scheduling appointments can help you map out literally your day. Also allows the customer to see you when it's convenient for them. So again, that's going to go to building rapport, that I care about my customer. I want to see them on their terms. So how do I build rapport with gatekeepers? So gatekeepers, if you remember, is anyone that controls the flow of information, really anyone that can stop the process from continuing. So be respectful, be honest, ask them about themselves, and maybe even ask them about the prospect themselves, and be very thoughtful in your intentions. So I mentioned the sales call planning reports, and the purpose of that is to help you plan and prepare for your meeting with the prospect. And I put, it helps you prepare for the first 2 role plays. It's really, so your first role play is going to be speed selling. And then second and final, this is going to help you prepare for. You may think I'm crazy. I'm giving this to you way in advance. I'm not going to go through every detail of this right now, because as we go along and learn a concept, then I'm going to show you in the sales call planning report where that would go. So currently, you could not go out and successfully complete the sales call planning report in your group. But what I found is successful groups will take it piece by piece as we learn it, or learn a concept, and then incorporate that, or I say incorporate, address and complete that area. So by the time you get to March 30th, you're good. You've worked step by step, and it's not a last minute rush, because these can be 10, 12 pages. So on D2L, there is a separate area called Sales Call Planning Report. You can look at the guidelines. I'll review this next class. And then within this assignment, there is an example. a student example. So of an A that isn't perfect, but again, in class, I'll point out some areas. I know this is way in the future, but as we talk about it on Monday, start thinking about, okay, what can I go ahead and address now? I promise you, you'll be happier with yourself in the future if you do that. So I'm going to stop there for pre-approach, and then next video we'll start with approach.